everyone, welcome back to the Hey Mentor channel. My name is Akanksha and I'm a second year pre-nursing student at the University of Washington. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my freshman year at the UW. It definitely was a very unique year. We had extraordinary circumstances, including the pandemic, which in turn led to spring quarter online, which was a unique experience in itself. I'm really grateful that I was able to have about 6 months of a normal college experience. I dormed on campus, and I guess that's where my review really starts. Is I learned the importance of communication through my dorming situation. My third roommate and I had a lot of disagreements, and we had to seek the help of our RD to help us make some compromises. We had a lot of disagreements over cleanliness, when the main lights should be out, and having friends over. And so the RD really helped us make some compromises, like creating a chore chart, which may sound really detailed, but it provided us expectations of each other that we needed to keep our room clean and organized. Some things we included on the chore chart were vacuuming, taking out the trash, cleaning the bathroom, and so every week I would assign each roommate a task to complete for the week, and so that just helped us stay on track and keep our room clean. We also decided on a time to turn our main lights off, which was 10:30. I think that was a pretty good compromise, and if we had any disagreements, we would just turn on our individual lamps and continue studying. One thing I would recommend is buying a eye mask, because if your roommates are staying up late studying and you want to get some sleep, it might just be better to wear an eye mask so that you can try and sleep without getting annoyed with your roommate's lamps or the light on. When we did have disagreements over having friends over, we decided that it would be best to ask ahead of time if we were all comfortable having friends over, and we made sure to ask in a reasonable manner. Say about 2 hours before having friends over, not like 5 minutes beforehand, just so that we would have some time to get a response and make sure it was okay with everyone. All of this may sound unnecessary or excessive, but to live with someone who differs greatly from you, they were all necessary to make our living space work. Don't be afraid to reach out to your RAs or your RD to help you find new compromises to make your living space work for each other. It will guide you on how to better communicate your expectations of each other and your challenges that you may be having. And if anyone is interested in learning more about my dorming experience or the UW dorming experience, let me know and I'd be happy to make a video about that as well. Next thing I learned was really important: communicating with my advisors and department-specific advisors. It can be really overwhelming as a freshman to navigate how to look for courses that you may be interested in, or even registering for courses, which is a process in itself. I personally came into college with a lot of prerequisites that I completed at the Running Start program, and so I had a really hard time figuring out what classes I could take because there are some restrictions on courses. Registration is often a topic talked about a lot in detail because it is really important to be prepared for the best and worst outcomes. I would always meet with my advisor about 2 weeks before registration would open, so that we could come up with a plan to figure out what classes I wanted to take for the next quarter and talk about my major and some updates in my progress. I would recommend about meeting your advisor 2 weeks beforehand, because of course the week of or the week before, a lot of appointments with advisors do fill up quickly, and you want to make sure you are able to talk to your advisor so that you are able to talk about any problem that you may experience before registration. You definitely don't want to wake up at 6 a.m. for registration and realize that there are restrictions or ad codes needed for the courses that you want to register for, and then you'll be scrambling to find something else. That's why I also recommend to have backups for the courses that you want to take, because that way at 6 a.m. you barely know what you're doing, and so you want to make sure that at the end of it you are able to register for classes that you can take the next quarter and courses that you're interested in. You can do this by creating a list of possible courses you want to take for the next quarter, and when you do meet with your advisor, you can talk about what courses you want to take and what courses will become backups. This will also create an opportunity to talk about ad codes or restrictions that may come up, and your advisor will be able to help you navigate that. There are some instances where you may have to talk to the department-specific advisor. Like I mentioned, I did come into college with a lot of courses already completed, and so sometimes I would have to reach out to department-specific advisors to see if my courses would fulfill the UW equivalent courses. If you are someone coming in with pre-existing courses and credits, I do recommend reaching out directly to department-specific advisors so they can help you work out your situation and make sure you are able to register for courses. One thing I also learned is do not be afraid to change or meet with a new advisor. The original advisor I was set to meet with just wasn't a perfect match for me. They just didn't support me the way that I needed, and so I looked into a meeting with a different advisor, and I was able to find someone who was able to help me with exactly what I needed help with. Another thing I learned the hard way was keeping an open mind. I applied to a capacity constrained major this year and I did not get in, and it was really devastating. But I think what you really have to learn is that you need a backup plan, and you need to realize your strengths and weaknesses so that you can work on those and become a better applicant. This is something that is premature for a lot of freshmen because I am someone who came in with a lot of my prerequisites done, and so applying for majors was something I had to think about a lot earlier than my peers. And so that if that is the case for you, then I would really consider having a backup major that your prerequisites could also apply to. I learned while applying for my major that it's really resourceful to reach out to people in your major and ask for their emails so that you could potentially ask them to review your application and essays and ask for any advice that they may have. Another thing that I learned helped me the most was looking for RSOs that were related to my major. I found a RSO. RSO is also another term for a club. I found an RSO that was based around helping people with their applications, and so they had connections that were able to help students applying to have people read their essays and ask any questions about their application. Be proactive, you know, find what you can improve on in your application, find your strengths and weaknesses and work on those. Don't be discouraged if you don't get in the first time, because that doesn't necessarily mean you won't get in a second time. There are a lot of people who are willing to help you, a lot of people who are already in your major, and so if you ask them any advice or questions you may have, and they'll be more than willing to help you. Another thing I'll mention is the schoolwork. I mentioned I was a Running Start student. I did full-time Running Start my junior and senior year of high school, and so I thought I'd have it easy when I transitioned into college classes, but that was not the case. I really struggled with learning how to study for my classes and how to take notes. A lot of classes depend on their requirements for how they want you to take notes. Some classes will require you to take handwritten notes, and some are okay with typed notes. I did get an iPad halfway through the year, which really I would recommend, because I was able to take handwritten notes in classes where you were required to, and I was also able to take typed notes whenever I needed to as well. You'll have to navigate your first few days in class what the professor requires you to do notes by, and it's really important to take really good notes because that's the one thing you reference to for exams, and if a friend has missed class one day, you can also send them your notes. Don't expect to go to class and learn everything. It'll just be that easy. It's not that easy. It's really important to be ahead. Read your readings before class and make sure you have everything you need to be prepared before class starts. Yeah, I just found it really helpful to be ahead, not only because it made me a better student, but because it allowed me to have more free time. And in my free time, I wasn't guilty that I wasn't doing schoolwork because I had everything done. And it just really helped me prioritize my week and be really efficient. Another thing I'll recommend is making at least one friend in all your classes. That way you just have someone to reference to if you aren't able to make it to class and you need notes or help with an assignment. And then that way you can study for exams together as well. Another thing is go to review sessions for exams. Most of them are held late at night, and you really probably don't want to go, but I really benefited from going to them. I had review sessions, I believe, like 2 days or a day before my exam for my physiology class, and often they would directly talk about information that would be on the exams, or sometimes even indirectly give out answers to some of the exam questions if you're paying attention. And so I really recommend going to those. Another thing that I kind of learned a little too late, I learned this in spring quarter and I really benefited from it, was in the beginning of the quarter, I just dedicated a day to writing out in my planner, my physical planner, everything that, all the assignments that were due, when exams and quizzes would be. So I have an iPad, and so every week, sorry, I keep referencing that I have an iPad, but it really did help me throughout my year. But I would sit down beginning of the week on Sundays, for example, and I would write what assignments I had each day and then what days I had quizzes and exams, and that just really helped me navigate my week and plan out what I needed to do beforehand. There's an app called Notion that basically does the same thing. You can find YouTube videos about it and how people use it, but that also is really useful. One thing that I learned my freshman year is that I would recommend to other freshmen is do all the freshman things. Do all the things that may seem lame. One thing that my friends and I did was Dog Days. It's a event run the first week of school for freshmen and returning students. And there are a lot of mini events throughout the week, including there's like ice cream parties, planting a succulent, roller skating, and then there's the fall fling, which is the concert, which was super fun. This all really comes down to the point where you are only a freshman once and freshman year goes by super fast. One thing I learned the hard way was that a lot of people are open to socializing the first few weeks of school, and so you really want to take advantage of that and make friendships and acquaintances that way. There are dorm events, especially in the first few weeks, that RAs work really hard to do, and so you can go to those and make friends in your own hall. My roommate and I visited each dorm on our floor. As we knocked on a lot of doors, our neighbors joined us, and we were able to just introduce ourselves, and it was really fun to meet everyone on our floor. Another thing is saying hi to familiar faces while you're walking to class or in your dorm hall. You may not think that those people recognize you, but you start to recognize people you walk past every day, and so it's really just nice to say hi. One thing I will tell you is get a good umbrella. I had to learn the hard way. I will tell you a really embarrassing story. I was walking to Suzzallo one day because my friend was studying there and I was going to meet her, and I had gone to Local Point before and gotten sandwiches. Sandwiches are also the best thing you can eat at Local Point. And so on my way there, once I got my sandwiches, I was super excited. I was ready to get to Suzzallo, but it was pouring rain outside. I was determined to get to Suzzallo dry with my sandwiches in hand. That was not the case. I dropped my sandwiches in a puddle, and as I was grabbing my sandwiches, my umbrella on the other hand flipped inside out, and it was super embarrassing, super traumatizing, and literally as I got to Suzzallo, I was soaking wet. My sandwiches were drenched in water, and I just learned the hard way that it's really, really important to get a good umbrella, so I'd really recommend that. Lastly, the one thing I would recommend to all freshmen is have fun. I think with the pandemic cutting my freshman year short, a lot of my friends and I have realized that you know, there are so many things that we wanted to do, like join more RSOs, go to more school events. It allowed us to appreciate even more the freshman year we were able to experience. And so freshman year goes by really fast, and so you just want to do all that you can. It may seem like 4 years is a really long time, but with how freshman year flew by, I just know that I just want to get involved as much as I can, join more RSOs, go to more school events. And so that's one thing I recommend to you all, is just really enjoy it all and have as much fun as you can. I really just recommend do anything that may make you nervous, join a new RSO, take an interesting class, go to a floor event for your dorm, say hi to familiar faces. All these things really make a difference in your school year and your experience. And that's all for me. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my year, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe to the Hey Mentor channel, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and visit our website at heymentor.org. If you guys have any more questions or any videos you'd like to see from me, let me know in the comments below, and I'd be more than happy to film them. And I have a lot of information and experience that I'd love to share with you guys, so seriously, any questions or any concerns or anything you'd like to see from me, I would love to share. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!